Okay. I think we're live now. Let me check the live chat. Can you all hear me? Is this live? It says it's live. All right, we got a few hellos. I think we're good. How's everybody doing today? Roxas, Dog, hello. Sarah Plays, hello. Tickle Cat, hello. And hello everybody that's watching. Welcome to the 16th episode of the Q&A live stream. For some of those that are new, basically what we do is this is just a chance for fans to ask me questions about literally anything. It can be any of our games, Dark Deception, Monsters and Immortals, or the new game Evil Nun the Broken Mask. So what I'll usually do is I'll take questions from members in the live chat, and then I will kind of go through super chats, and at the end we kind of do subscriber questions through email. Now the last time we just did a live chat, just kind of took questions all from the live chat and super chats. This time we're going to do kind of the same thing, but the next Q&A live stream, episode 17, will probably go back to the normal format. And the reason that I'm doing it again that way is just in the interest of time. I didn't have time to prep all the email questions. So today it's just going to be taking it from the member chat and from super chats. So if you're a member, just pop it into the chat stream and I will read through them and pick a few good ones. And if you're not a member, you can become a member, or you can just send a super chat if you have a question that you really want to get answered. I will answer all of them. Just to kick things off today, we have a new sponsor. I've kind of shared several times on Twitter. It's XPG. You can see I'm wearing the hat. They're not paying me to do this today. I'm just doing it because I really enjoy working with them, and they have really awesome products. So this is completely an unpaid promotion by me. I've had a lot of people tell me that their computer's not good enough, or that they don't have adequate accessories on their computer. So if any of you guys need a new computer or new extra storage, like a new external hard drive, XPG is definitely the company to go with. And in fact, they were pretty cool. They just sent me some awesome stuff that I'm going to be unboxing later. One of them is this external SATA drive that has actually 2 terabytes of storage space. I may actually do a giveaway with a couple of these in the near future for our fan base, so that's pretty cool. Another one is their laptop. So this is the Zinnia 15. I don't know if y'all can see that. Zinnia 15 KC gaming laptop, which has a 3070 RTX card in it from NVIDIA, an RTX 3070. So if you're looking for a really sweet laptop that can play literally anything, that is definitely the laptop to buy. And they actually have a cheaper version of, like, this is the more expensive one for people that really want something beast-like that can play just everything on max settings. But they have one that's a little bit more, I guess a little bit more economy. It's got a 2070 card in it, or a 3060, I forget. But it's a lot cheaper than this one. So for anyone that's thinking of buying a new laptop to play Dark Deception or anything else, there's a lot of new games coming out that have really high requirements. That's what you want to go with. But without further ado, now that I've gotten through all that, my little plug for XPG, thanks again guys for sponsoring us, if any of them are watching. Let's get to the questions. So I'm going to hop into the member live stream. Grab a little sip of my tea before I begin, so I can get kind of dry throat. All right. Let's see what our members have for us as far as questions go. So again, members, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat and I will go through them. So our first question is from Judinator. He says, will Evil Nun the Broken Mask have ray tracing? Second, how do the graphics compare to Dark Deception? And finally, when are the servers coming out for Monsters and Mortals? Well, that's 3 questions, but I'll take them one by one since I'm still waiting on some other questions. Well, will Evil Nun, the Broken Mask have ray tracing, which is basically RTX on? At this point, we haven't enabled RTX on. We probably will for the final release. It's just something we need to kind of work with NVIDIA on. Right now, it's RTX off. So that gameplay video you saw that we put out a couple weeks ago is actually RTX off. So there's no ray tracing in that. It's just the normal global illumination. Okay, second, how do the graphics compare to Dark Deception? I would say Unreal Engine 5, because we're building this in Unreal Engine 5. The main difference is the lighting system. So you can see a drastic improvement in the volumetric lighting and the, if we use ray tracing, the reflections. So you'll see a bigger difference in reflections and dynamic shadows and the lighting in general. I think that's the biggest difference I see in Unreal Engine 5 versus Unreal Engine 4 so far, besides obvious performance improvements. Finally, when are the servers coming out for Monsters and Mortals? Very soon. Actually, we are doing the final test on the servers probably over the next 2 days. And if nothing bad happens, then the servers could be out next week. That's not a promise, but that's looking very likely. So for all the Monsters and Mortals players, help is on the way. I think, if everything keeps going smoothly, we will definitely have this out in the next 2 weeks. So fingers crossed, wish us luck, and we'll see how it goes. But so far, the testing's been very good. Oh, 1 second. Sorry, guys, I need to fix something real fast. Alrighty. Alrighty, I'm back. So, unfortunately, the power cable got unplugged from my wall, so it was telling me the laptop was about to die. So I had to plug it back in. So, thanks for being patient. Let me get back to the questions. 1 second. I gotta find my place again. Oh yeah, well, somebody mentioned the Hangry Plush is here. And we are actually kicking this off pretty soon. I think in just a few hours, or it may already be active. So this is the Hangry Plushie. This is a prototype, so it's a lot smaller than the actual thing. But yeah, they did a pretty good job on him. He's looking pretty awesome. So this is the Hangry Boy. But yeah, the actual one that ships will be much larger than this. So I'll put him here next to Lucky. He's got his place. Once Penny comes out, we'll have all 3. Okay, Hyper Orange. Out of all that was announced for Monsters and Mortals announcements, which of them have the highest chance of coming out in 2021? Let me think. So we had Evil Nun, we had the Coma 2, Yandere Simulator, Corey Kenshin, and the final one, Huggy, or Poppy Playtime. So Poppy Playtime is definitely going to be 2022, probably early. Maybe Corey Kenshin could come out before the end of 2021. But right now, our priority is getting out the Crazy Carnival map with the clown spider, or the spider clown. That's actually very close to completion. So that probably be out in the next 2 weeks. We also have Mama Bear and the Trigger Teddy edition. That'll kind of wrap up all the Chapter 4 characters. So that's also a priority. And then we have the Yandere Simulator DLC. So I feel like those three are going to eat up the rest of 2021, getting those ones out. I mean, if we can fit Corey in before the 2021 year ends, then that's great. That's awesome if we get things done faster and we can squeeze that in. But I don't want to, like, rush it to try to, like, squeeze out as much as possible. I mean, that could very easily be a January 2022 thing. Same as Poppy Playtime. We want to get that out probably early in 2022. And then, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I mean, either way, they should all be out within the next 2-3 months. So very soon. And then I guess Evil Nun and the Coma 2 would be the priority after those. Let me see. We got another question from Lou. Will the alphabet letters and spider clowns be in Dark Decession or Dark Deception? No. So those are Monsters and Mortals exclusives. So we saw that the spider clown was inspired by the graffiti that was in Zone 2 of Crazy Carnival. We wanted to create, you know, kind of bring that to life, like it had a point for that being on the wall. Like there actually is a clown spider. It's just you don't see it. Doug doesn't encounter it during his run of Crazy Carnival, but it is there. I know some Monsters and Mortals bosses did make it into Dark Deception, like the Chef Monkey and the Titan Watcher, but this time they're going to stay in Monsters and Mortals. So, yeah, same with the ABCs. Agatha's the boss. We're not going to bring the ABCs into it. Got another one from Dog. Dog VCFRDR official. When is Dark Deception coming to mobile devices? Dark Deception is coming to mobile devices maybe sooner than originally expected. But not as the 3D Dark Deception. So it's not going to be a straight port of Dark Deception on Steam. So what you might get a lot sooner is Super Dark Deception, which is our kind of 2D version of Dark Deception, which is a lot more mobile friendly. So that may reach mobile first before the normal Dark Deception. And that will probably be sometime, I would say, in the first quarter of 2022. That's what I'm targeting. Like, don't make that a solid deadline that you're going to come harass me for if it slides by. That is the estimation, the loose estimation at this point. 24114 just asked an off-the-cuff question. Is Taiwan tea very good tasting? Yes, I think Taiwan tea is the best in the world. Maybe besides British tea, but I've never actually been to the UK, so I don't know. I've never experienced British tea, but as far as like what I've encountered in my lifetime, Taiwan tea is absolutely the best between the oolong and green tea. And actually, I'm drinking some British tea right now. I bought it from Whittard's. It's their Christmas tea. It's kind of a spiced tea, so I like it. Great thing to drink during a live stream. Kind of keeps me from getting a sore voice. And let me see. Liam Brownlee asks, how many levels are in Chapter 5 again? Hey, no problem. We got 4 levels in Chapter 5. So if you get all the S ranks, you'll be able to play 4 levels. If not, then probably not that many. Let's see. Kyle Odell, can we see more concept art of Mama Bear, Joy Joy Gang, etc.? Yeah, we do have some other concept art that I haven't shown yet. Uh, Maybe I'll show it in the future, or maybe it'll be in our art book eventually, because we will kind of release a Dark Deception art book once the game's completely done, and we might save it for that. So, something to look forward to, I guess. Funtime Freddy. Hey Vince, have you ever seen my Minecraft Dark Deception roleplay series? It's our part of the story, and it was definitely about your game. I think I have seen a few Minecraft mods, if that's what you're talking about. I saw a pretty good one that was the Joy Joy Gang in Minecraft. It was kind of their version of Mascot Mayhem. I think that's the only one I've seen, though. So if there's other Minecraft mods, if that's not yours, then definitely send it. Just kind of tag me in it on Twitter, and I'll take a look. UBF 13 asks, what was the inspiration for the ambulance chase? I think the inspiration was kind of a combination of two movies that I watched. One was, I believe it was John Wick 2. It's both sequels. And the other one was Matrix Revolutions, which is a bit of an older movie, but they both had kind of tunnel chases, so that I think I kind of drew inspiration from those, because I wanted it to feel kind of cinematic. Let's see. Emmy Zoom 90. What will the Joy Joy Gang do in Chapter 5? Well, the Joy Joy Gang will reappear in Chapter 5, but I can't spoil what their role is or what their involvement will be, but you will see the Joy Joy Gang again. So Doug has some unfinished business with them. Let's see. Okay, Omega Zero says, I don't know if this will be in the game lore, but since there's a dark dimension that kind of represents hell, will we have a light dimension in DD history or in the sequel that represents heaven? Well, I mean, that's kind of a you'll see response, but you can't have darkness without light, so that's something you can kind of theorize about and keep in mind, is that light always follows shadow. But is there any room for light in this world? We'll see. I don't know if that will be something I'll address in this game or the next or the one after. We'll kind of see how it goes. Okay, let me see what else we have. Laura's Lucky live streams, it's more of a comment than a question. It's just funny because I kind of joked about this to Penn. It says that, good lord, the plushies are growing in size every day. I kind of joked with Penn that by the time we're done with all the Dark Deception and Monsters and Immortals plushies, it's just going to be a pile of them here with my face kind of sticking out of the pile. There's not going to be any room for me to sit on this couch anymore. Something to look forward to. Okay, let me see what else we have. Well, it looks like we got a break in questions in the member chat, so I'm going to jump over to the super chats while they kind of get some more going in there. So we've got super chat from Sarah Plays 23. Says, how is Evil Nun the Broken Mask coming along? It's coming great. So Evil Nun the Broken Mask is pretty far into development. I think we've probably got maybe a few months left on it. I'd say anywhere from 2 to 4 months. But it's getting pretty close to the end. What we showed in that gameplay video was actually very early footage. So the world's pretty much all in there. We're just kind of going through and building the puzzles and the gameplay right now, and doing some of the cinematics that are left. But after that, it's almost wrapped up. So we may show some more gameplay footage before release, something that a lot more finalized, or we may just drop the trailer and let it get out. We'll kind of see how it goes, but yeah, that one's coming along pretty fast. I would definitely expect to see it before, maybe like, definitely some point in Q1 2022. I would not expect it in 2021, so it is going to go to probably Q1 2022, but I wouldn't expect it to go any later than that. And Bonbon Fazbear threw in 2. Thank you, Funbon. Or thank you, Bonbon. Will you ever nerf Agatha? Who is Leslie? No. Well, I mean, we kind of balance all the characters, but we've already nerfed Agatha before. We're not going to nerf her again anytime soon. There's definitely very easy ways to deal with Agatha if you kind of pay attention to her skill set. And as far as, like, who is Leslie, I think that's a name that people got confused with for E. So yeah, I think that's in reference to E from Dark Deception. Joy J Lucky threw in £2. Thank you, Joy Joy. And he says, will you ever consider an Amnesia DLC? I assume you made for Monsters Immortals. So yeah, I mean, I like Amnesia. Played it a lot back in the day, so I would definitely not mind to have an Amnesia DLC in Monsters Immortals. It definitely had a huge impact on horror. And you know, that's our goal with Monsters Immortals, is to open it to everything that had an impact on the horror genre, as long as we can make it fit. Sea Tiger Gaming asks, hello Vince, will you do devlogs 7 through 9? No. So I told people a while ago that we're kind of done with the devlogs just because nobody watched them. And they took a lot of time to make. So I think even the old ones have almost no new views on them. So it really wasn't worth it. Now we just kind of stick with trailers and extra content that's more fun and short, like music and interviews and stuff like that. And that's probably how I'm going to go, just because the devlogs were too niche. So for that kind of time investment, it took me away from the game development, and it didn't have, you know, nobody watched it. So I'm not going to do those anymore. You guys kind of vote with your views, so if you watch it, I'll keep making it. But if you don't watch it, I'll cut it off pretty fast. Swindle. Hey there, Vince. Hope you're feeling better from the migraine. Yeah, definitely feeling better than yesterday. I'm able to sit in front of the camera without, like, throwing up today. So that's a step up. But thank you for your concern. Funtime Freddy threw in $2. Thank you, Funtime. Have you seen my Minecraft DD roleplay series? Oh, I think, okay, that was like a duplicate response. So same answer as last time. Definitely tag me on Twitter if what I mentioned was not your mod. So I'll take a look at it, because I always enjoy the Minecraft mods. Seems like you guys put a lot of effort into those, so it's pretty cool to see. Or you can send me a video link. That's another easy way to get it in front of me. Bonbon Fazbear threw in another $2. Thank you, Bonbon. What was the Scrap Dread Ducky Legs Ultimate? Okay, so that was originally going to be the same thing, but he did it with his legs. So instead of using his mouth attack, he did kind of this weird flying kung fu bicycle kick like Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat. And it just didn't work well. I mean, I loved how stupid it looked. It was funny. It made me laugh. But it kept bugging out on corners because it was hard to stop him. So we went with the mouth attack instead because it's stationary. It was a lot easier, and it didn't cause bugs. So for everyone who wondered what that Dread Ducky Legs Ultimate was, that's what it was. Unicat Ninjas threw in $2. Thank you, Unicat. Where are their blade saws in a hospital? Because it's torment therapy, so they love to torment their patients. And part of, what goes on in a hospital is surgical. And those are actually surgical blade saws. So those aren't like a normal saw blade for like a wood workshop. Those are actually surgical saw blades, but hard to tell the difference. They kind of look the same. In that instance, those are actually bone saws. And Doug's got plenty of those, so yeah, that's why they're in there. Troy Douglas threw it 5. Thank you, Troy. Hey, Vince, when will Dark Deception come to consoles? Also, I hope you're having a good day. Well, first, thank you for the well wishes. I am having a good day today. Better than yesterday. And will Dark Deception come to consoles? Yes. So, some good news on that front. We finally got our Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 dev kits. So we are actually in the process of the porting work now. And we're looking to get those out hopefully before summer 2022. But we'll see how it goes. And as far as the Nintendo Switch port, we do have that in mind. But we're still waiting on the dev kits from them. So we'll kind of see how that goes with Nintendo. But now that we're working on Chapter 5, we're actually able to do these console ports. Fleet does stuff. Vince, is it true that you're in your 50s? No, I'm actually 60. So I look pretty good for my age, right? I look like I'm 50, but I'm actually 60. I'm kind of like Michael J. Fox. I'll look young forever. Yeah, I'll roll with that. What's Corey Kenshin say? 25 part 4? Mine would be like 25 part 100 or something like that. Kitty Future threw in $5. Thank you, Kitty. Will you show how the Reaper nurses do their initiation ritual, either in game or in some other way, or is that a you'll see kind of thing? Yeah, I think that's a you'll see kind of thing. Maybe later, or maybe never. We may kind of leave that to that bit of lore as a mystery. But I kind of appreciate as a fan like when a lot of I guess the lores that I'm a fan of don't explain everything, because a lot of times they disappoint me with their explanations and it ruins it for me. Case in point, like Aliens franchise. It's like a lot of stuff I wish they just would have left it vague. Let me fill in the blanks. I do a better job of it. And I'm sure other fans do as well. So I don't want to hyper-explain every little detail, because some things are more fun when they're left to the imagination. Bon Bon Fazbear threw in $2. Does Joy Joy Gang or Malik have scrapped voice lines? Oh yes, we have plenty of scrapped voice lines for the Joy Joy Gang and Malik. And I'm sure that'll be another kind of vault video later on. But right now I'm not going to pull those out just because I've got too much on my plate to make that video. But I'll save that for a rainy day when we're kind of low on content on the channel. Unicat Ninjas threw in another 5. Is the random pose freezing resetting for the mascots during dialogue intentional because they're robots, or is it because it's hard to animate? No, it's because they're robots. And we wanted them to look a little bit jerky and robotic, so... Just like if you went to one of those horrible Chuck E. Cheese animatronic shows, they kind of don't move so smoothly, like they'll move naturally and then they'll just start jerking in between because they're animatronic robots. It's kind of that as well, same deal. Because if we made them too fluid, it would feel more like just a person in a mascot costume versus an actual robot. Okay. Deceptex threw in £5. Thank you, Deceptex. What are the clown spiders called? Right now, we don't have an official name for them. I haven't really name them yet. We're just kind of referring to them as spider clowns or clown spiders. I haven't really settled on one or the other yet. But since the clowns are just called clown gremlins, we'll probably just call it clown spider to kind of fit with that naming and keep it consistent. Dasher MC, can you say anything about Dark Deception level 10 currently? No, I can't. And I'll save that, I'll do some reveals on level 10 in a bit, but not yet. We got another one from Dog. Oh wait, that's the same one he answered earlier. Okay, forget that. G-Nuzzle threw in 2. Are you planning on doing a farm level for Dark Deception? No, not for Dark Deception, but maybe for Monsters and Mortals. Could definitely have a farm map somewhere in there. That would be kind of fun, especially if it was like a corn maze. I think that would be pretty creepy, like running around in the corn maze without being able to see the other players or the boss or any of that. So I think that makes sense for Monsters and Mortals, but not for Dark Deception. Joy Lucky, how are you feeling today? I love all the concern. I feel great. I feel a lot better than yesterday. I got my tea, I got you guys, and I've got an Advil, so I'm doing great. It's amazing what a little bit of sleep will do for you. I think when you go without sleep for a while, it definitely starts to wear you down. And, your health kind of suffers as a result. Oh, YouTube did its little jump. Let me find my place. Well, that was a big jump. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. We got another one from Bonbon Fazbear for another 2. Thank you, Bonbon, for all the donations. Why did you remove the fog in Mascot Mayhem? How simple, because it didn't look good. So, it's funny. When we had the fog in, there was a large group of people that complained about it and said it looked like a mobile game and they hated it. And then we took it out, and those same people complained that it wasn't there anymore and asked why we took it out. I'm like, come on, guys. It's an improvement. There's no way you can say it looked better before. Just no way. If you do, you lose all credibility as far as having an eye for visuals. So we wanted to make it look spooky and kind of atmospheric with a darkened sky, but not make it look so ambient that everything becomes washed out and just white and flat. And that's what happened with the old fog, is it made everything very bright, very flat. None of the materials had any specularity because ambient fog destroys specularity. So that's why we took it out. It was kind of making the level look bad. Let me see what else we got here. Artem, 1 score, threw in 4.5 pounds. Thank you, Artem. Is there any explanation on the dates of some notes in Dark Deception? Oh, as far as like when it took place? You'll get a better sense of the timeline of the notes in Chapter 5. It'll kind of line up with what's happening in Dark Deception, and you'll get a sense of when those notes were written. But I can't reveal that right now because it's kind of a spoiler. Or it is a spoiler. So that's you'll see response, but, I think part 1 will probably clear that up for you. So you won't have to wait long. Automazor threw in 5. Hey, Vince, sorry about last time. This time I have a more unique question. Do the mannequins use their head to kill you? Well, they do have a sharp, pointy head, so I don't think it's much of a spoiler to say yes, they do. In fact, they can kill you with all of their limbs. If you've noticed that all 5 of their limbs, their head, their arms, and their legs are all very sharp, very pointed, and very deadly. So the mannequins are very adaptable in finding ways to kill Doug. Bonbon Fazbear threw in another 2. Thank you again. I think that's like your 8th contribution. So thank you for the multiple donations. Who will voice Yandere DLC characters in Monsters and Mortals? So we're actually using the same voice actors that are in Yandere Simulator. So Michaela Lulz is coming back to resume her role as Ayano. And we're going to use the same voice actor for Senpai. We haven't recorded with him yet, but we're going to do that pretty soon. I think he's the last one. So we used all the same voice actors from Yandere Simulator. So anybody that's a Yandere Simulator fan, you'll hear the exact same voices that you loved in Yandere Simulator. Rooney Nico threw in £5. What was with the mini Malik at the beginning of Mascot Mayhem? That was a bug before that has since been fixed. He's not there anymore. Mini Malik was basically a placeholder for the cutscene at the end, and it did get turned off, so he was visible. But that was basically just a little debug tool that wasn't supposed to be active, but it was still active. So that's why some people saw Mini Malik when we released Chapter 4 at the beginning of Mascot Mayhem. You can just pretend he was like a preview of the Malik action figure that's coming later, hopefully. Joy Joy Lucky threw in £5. Thank you, Joy Joy. Barely Buried introduced the concept of multiple boss fights in the same stage. Is this a taster of what's to come in Chapter 5? Yeah. So actually, it was actually Mascot Mayhem that kind of... And really, it was supposed to be Torment Therapy, but people just kind of cheated their way past that little stealth mini-boss section. So the boss encounter before the final boss encounter was introduced in level 6 in Torment Therapy, and it was continued in basically Mascot Mayhem, although that one was kind of equal because the bigger boss fight was the first one, and then you had the mini boss fight as the secondary boss fight after that. So it was kind of reversed. But basically all the levels had a mini boss encounter at some point before the portal escape, and that is kind of the design element that's going to continue in Chapter 5. So yes, you can expect to have more than one boss encounter in levels 9, well, basically all the Chapter 5 levels. Automazura threw in another 5. Thank you for your multiple contributions. If every boss fought each other, who would win? Probably Malik, since he's the ultimate boss. I mean, if it's not Malik involved, I think it's really... It would be kind of up in the air. It's a free-for-all. Who would win that Royal Rumble? I don't know. You know, pick a name out of a hat. Let's see. Vision threw in 5. Thank you, Vision. Will there be more creators coming to Monsters Immortals than just Corey? Probably. I think at least maybe one more. We're kind of looking into who kind of fits the bill for that. We do have like a criteria that we follow when we invite people to be a creator. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of creators that meet that criteria. But I think there's a couple other candidates that could be a good fit. We're going to wait and see how it plays out. But first, we're going to get Corey in. And Corey's going to be part of the creators' US pack. I don't know if that's going to have 3 characters like the UK one did. It might only have 2. Or it could just be just Corey. But I think ideally we'd want it to have at least 2. But we're not going to hold Corey up while we wait on a second creator to come and kind of fill that in. Fernando Millo threw in 5. Thank you, Fernando. Is Yandere Simulator DLC still coming out later this month? We're kind of taking it day by day, so I'm not going to rush it out because we've kind of pushed the Crazy Carnival map and the Mama Bear and Trigger Teddy edition in front of Yandere Simulator. And we're trying to get that out, so that may interfere a little bit. It's possible that Yandere Simulator could slide into like early December. But it'll definitely be out before 2021 is over. So I would say, no matter what, you're going to get it before Christmas hits. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's definitely coming. You know, don't worry about the day too much. Once it looks like it's ready to go, you'll know because we'll drop the showcase video and I'll start promoting some of the gameplay. And it'll be out usually like a few days or a week after that. Rini Nico threw in £2. I finished S ranking Chapter 4 levels today. That's awesome. I haven't even finished S ranking the Chapter 4 levels yet. In fact, I had lost my S ranking for Torment Therapy, and I had to start over because of some testing, so now I gotta do it again, and it was hard enough the first time. I usually get an A rank, and I have to go redo it again to get the S rank because I messed something up. Usually it's like I forgot to pick up the bonus shard, or I forgot to get a secret. It's always one of those two. Joy Joy Lucky threw in another £2. Thank you, Joy Joy, for your multiple contributions. Will the mall be Mascot Mayhem on steroids? The mall level in general is going to be much bigger because it's actually a multi-level mall. So it's actually more levels than Torment Therapy, so it's going to be pretty insane. There's a lot going on in it, so you'll see pretty soon. I'm going to show some more teasers leading up to Christmas. You'll see how crazy it is. But yeah, it's going to be a fun jump over Mascot Mayhem and Barely Buried. We'll see if it matches up to the insanity of Mascot Mayhem, but I think it's on a good track right now. Might even surpass it in some people's eyes. Hyper Orange threw in $2. Will there ever be an Among Us DLC for Monsters Immortals? Well, I mean, that really depends on the Among Us team if they want to do something like that. I'll probably reach out to them later, but we'll see. Yeah, it always comes down to them and whether they want to do something with Monsters Immortals, because I'm always open to it, but they've got to give me the okay. Deceptex threw in another £5. Thank you, Deceptex. You missed my question. Will mannequins take off their heads and toss them at you? Maybe I missed it. I don't know. Well, thanks for bringing it back. Will mannequins take off their heads and toss them at you? No, that is not one of their attack methods. Cooler19 threw in €10. Thank you, Cooler. Will there be a fix for the A-posing bug that occur on some computers? Eventually. Right now, that is a weird bug that only a small number of users are experiencing, and we have not been able to reproduce it. So we've tested it on 3 different computers, dozens of times, and we've never been able to get that A-pose bug. But it's like there's like a couple dozen people that just keep sending the screenshots, and we're gonna have to like maybe check with them to see what settings they're running, what their PC build is, even down to the nitty-gritty of like what drivers do they have installed. Because it may be like a combination of problems combining to create that. Believe it or not, your graphics card does cause visual bugs. So your hardware will cause bugs in the game if there's something not set up right, or drivers are outdated, or your RAM's bottlenecking, or your CPU is bottlenecking. If anything is underperforming at any level, it can cause visual bugs. So right now, that's really the only thing we have to go on as far as an explanation for that bug, because our computers are all up to date, and we have a good variety. Like, I'm using one with a 2070, Nixon's using one with the 3080. We even have like a 1060 laptop, and none of them can get that bug. So we're trying to figure it out, but unless we can reproduce it, it may be just something that those individual players' computers have created for them, and we may never be able to fix it. But, we're going to keep trying. So if you have that bug and you're watching right now, please email us and let us know exactly what I just said. What settings are you playing on for your visuals? Are you on low? Are you on medium, high, epic? What your PC specs are as far as your CPU, your GPU, your RAM, what version of, what operating system are you running? And we'll see if there's any similarities and differences that we can kind of use to help us inform us. But most people are not getting that bug. Advisability threw in 5. Thank you, Advisability. Will Lucky and Agatha play a significant role in Chapter 5? Yeah, I won't tell you how big of a role they play, but I would say you can expect to see both of them in Chapter 5. In fact, I think you can expect to see a lot of characters in Chapter 5. We'll just put it that way. Bonbon Fazbear threw in 5 reals. Another one from Fonbon. Will you ever consider a Zardi Maze DLC? It's a free game on Steam, and the creator said he's up for it. I think somebody asked me that before. I would absolutely be up for it. I'd have to do a little bit more research on Zardi. Because we, just like our creator, we do have a criteria for the DLC. And mainly that it has to have enough interest in the IP in order for it to be, you know, not a loss for us to make that DLC. So if I check him out and he's got a great following and they're highly engaged and it's enough to support a DLC, then we will look into it and talk with that creator. But yeah, we can't do things that have really small followings just because it won't sell, and then we'll take a loss, and then Monsters and Mortals will eventually, you know, get taken down because it's become unsustainable. Let's see. So yeah, it is a business decision, unfortunately. Oh, we got another one from Advisability. Threw in another 5. Thank you, Advisability. Is Lucky Malik's right-hand man? No, I wouldn't say he's Lucky's right-hand man. He's just kind of like... I would equate him to like being one of Malik's... I wouldn't call him like a general, but like one of his officers. We'll put it that way. If he has an army, Lucky would be one of his officers. He's definitely a significant member of Malik's army. Bonbon threw in 2 reals. Why does Nixon use a baseball bat as a weapon? Actually, that was Nixon's request. I think at some point his character used that to bonk somebody. I think that's what he told me. Because he's had that character designed for a while, but the mask was Bonnie from Five Nights at Freddy's. And I think at some point he said it had an aluminum baseball bat, so that's what we went with as his weapon. You'd have to ask Nixon to find out more about that, because I don't remember what the backstory was. I just simply agreed to it, since it was his character. Rudy Nico threw in another £5. Thank you, Rudy Nico. Sorry, I gotta translate this one a bit. Oh, have there been videos on what they see as far as the mall and the reflection? He said there has been videos on where they see the mall level in the reflection. I'm not sure what that's referring to. I did see some people kind of analyzing the reflections in the Chapter 4 levels. Maybe that's what you're referring to. But I can promise you Chapter 5 was not reflected in anything. So if that's what they're theorizing, that's incorrect. But it's a cool theory. I mean, those reflections in Chapter 4, it will kind of ruin their theory videos. But those are basically, well, not all of them. Some of them we used are basically just kind of stock reflection maps, just to give some materials a reflection, because they're in low lighting and it was hard to make them look kind of reflective in that lighting. So we had to use these kind of HDR images to kind of give it a more powerful reflection, and those were the ones that kind of worked. I know that's not what some people want to hear, but I'm just being honest. Sometimes you have to kind of fudge things in development, and I think that was definitely one of the fudged portions of the development. Mr. Mister threw in $5. Thank you, Mr. Mister. Would you consider adding the scrapped Barely Buried boss theme for the Big Mama boss fight? No. The scrapped music is dead and forgotten until we use it again in something else. But it probably won't be used in Dark Deception, but we might use it in the future in other things, if it fits. We just kind of, anything cut and scrapped we put in our vault for later use. And that way, if we ever need something on something else, we have a vault of unused ideas and music that we can kind of dig through. It's more of a backlog of creativity. So just because we can't use it in the game it was intended for doesn't mean we can't use it in the future for other stuff. Ava Wack threw in $5. Thank you, Ava. What can we expect from the Joy Joy Gang in Chapter 5? Well, all I can say at this point is an appearance. So everything will be, there will be closure on everything. Everything will reach its conclusion. Every part of Dark Deception will be kind of wrapped up with a nice little bow at the end. So you will definitely see the Joy Joy Gang again. Let me see what else we got here. Oh, sorry, YouTube did its jump again. 1 second. Wow, these jumps keep getting bigger and bigger. Come on, I wish YouTube would fix this. Okay, I got it. Hyper Orange threw in 2, another one. Will Beers appear in Dark Deception 2 or other future Dark Deception games? Maybe, maybe not. I guess it's undecided. I don't want to reveal anything about which characters survive Dark Deception 1 and which don't, because that's kind of a huge spoiler. Will it be Beers that survives? Will it be Malik? Will it be Doug? Will it be somebody else? That will all be answered in Chapter 5. So, unfortunately, that's a you'll see. I can't answer that right now. But I will say that not every character will survive. We'll just put it that way. Rooney Nico threw in 5. Do you think Dark Deception will be Steam Deck compatible? And if not, will you put the time to make it compatible? I think right now it's already Steam Deck compatible, but if we find any issues, once we get our Steam Deck or we get the Steam Deck dev kit, then we will definitely fix it and make it Steam Deck compatible, because we love the Steam Deck. We want it to run on there. I mean, that's going to be Dark Deception mobile for a lot of people. But unfortunately, because of the supply chain shortage, there's a lot of delays in the Steam Deck production. So we haven't been approved for the Steam Deck dev kit yet. We're still in line with everyone else. It's still under review because they don't have any extras. And I'm still waiting to get my normal Steam Deck, which is now pushed to Q2 of 2022. And I hope it doesn't get pushed any farther than that. But if it does, that whatever. I mean, it's worth the wait. I'll keep waiting. But fingers crossed. We'll see how much this is affected by the chip shortage and the other global supply chain issues. Tabub45 threw in 2. Thank you, Tabub. My username is actually pronounced as Tabub. It's like you knew I was going to mispronounce it right away. You're psychic. Tabub, thank you very much for your contribution. Rooney Nico threw in another £5. Thank you, Rooney. Once we S-rank all levels, can we simply click resume to get the true ending? Oh, Rooney, if it was only that simple. No, you have to earn that true ending. So once you get all the S ranks, the true path will open and the fight continues. So unfortunately, it's not going to be as simple as getting, unlock all the S ranks and then boom, the true ending plays in front of you, like an epilogue sequence. Yeah, the gameplay will continue on after that. You'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. It'll be worth the effort. I promise you. Galaxy G threw in 10. Thank you, Galaxy. Ahoy, mate. When Yandere DLC is coming and how much? Yandere DLC, I said, will probably be, I'm targeting, before Christmas, definitely 2021. As far as how much, I haven't confirmed the price with Yandere Dev yet, but I would expect probably, I think, kind of in between Silent Hill and Monstrum. It may be the same price as Monstrum. It may be, I would say, somewhere between $5.99 and $7.99. We'll see like how much content there is by the time we're done, because this one will be a bit of a bigger DLC. But I would expect it to be somewhere in that price range. So definitely one of the cheaper DLC. Bonbon Fazbear threw in another 2. Have you played Tattletail? No, I have not. Actually, I've seen Tattletail in some videos, I guess, a few years back. And it looked cool, but I never actually played it. I wonder, though, is Tattletail still... It seems like there's a lot of people that remember it. But I'm like, is the fandom still alive? Is that game still alive? It seems like it was kind of, one and done. And they've never come back to it. And because of that, I'm not sure if the fandom is still alive. Because I do have some people ask me for, like, a Tattletail guest DLC for Monsters and Immortals. But I'm like, if the fandom's dead, then that's not really worth it. Even if it did make an impact at some point. So I'm kind of curious. I have the same kind of question about Baldi and some of those other indie horror games that were kind of bigger back in 2015 to 2018. I think a lot of them were bigger, but their fandoms have kind of faded and they're not really alive anymore. It's kind of like a dead IP. Or I wouldn't say dead, I would say like dormant. Maybe it could come back at some point. Thingy Majig threw in £5. Thank you, Thingy. In the BB Cabin teaser from a while back, the portal wasn't where it is now. Where was it, and what was down that path? Oh, I think you're talking about the first screenshot, which made people think there was like a cave or a mine or something that they could go into. That was a very early setup for that exterior environment. And I didn't want to spoil things for the actual setup because I know people will just basically reproduce the level in advance. So, yeah, if you go that way, all you're going to run into is trees and kind of a cliff edge. There's not actually a cave there or a mine. I think what people confused that with was that kind of gazebo patio deck area. It looks like kind of the front entrance of a mine, like the support beams of wood. It has kind of the same shape. So from the side view, they thought it was a mine entrance. So there's not actually a path there. You can actually, if I kind of let the player, if any of you do kind of a boundary break, I'm sure like some of the guys that do those boundary break videos could run around in there and show you. But like it is kind of like an encapsulated arena area. There's not like any paths that lead to external areas. It's basically you come in the portal, you go in the cabin, and that's pretty much it. The rest is just scenery. Crash through in 5. Thank you, Crash. Will you put the alphabet music as an instrumental for covers? Sure, I guess if people really want that. I think we've had other instrumental requests for like Bad Rabbit and a few others. I think I will definitely put out the instrumentals at some point. I just haven't had time to do it yet. But we'll get to that because I know it seems like a lot of people want to use them to create like their own music. And that's really cool. I love to see that creativity from the community. So at some point I'm going to just do them all at once and share them out. And then we'll see what you guys create. Let's see. We got another one from Unicat Ninjas threw in $10. Thank you, Unicat, for your multiple contributions. Vince, my final Bad Rabbit dance music video will have the models. I think you mean the Chapter 4 actual models. That's cool. They shall dance with me. It will take time, though, and I'm still cleaning the choreo, so it's not half-assed. For what it's worth. Badum. Oh, okay. You should get the, like, badums. Well, that's cool. So if you get your final one and you get it up, just tag us and we might get it retweeted on one of our social media because I love to share, stuff from the community. I'm sure you guys seen me retweet like art, music videos, just random stuff. Anything from our community that's cool might make it onto my social media or Glowsticks or Dark Deceptions or Monsters and Mortals. It's cool to share stuff from the community with the rest of the community. So thanks for giving me the heads up. I hope it goes well. Fleet does stuff. Threw in £2. Vince, is it true you're in your 60s? It could be true. I love that you guys are throwing darts at a board. I'll go with the 60s. I think that's kind of like the golden age. So, got to respect your elders, right? I'm a senior citizen here. I'm an old man, so got my little back pillow here. Got to take it easy, these old bones. That's why the games take so long. I got that bad 60-year-old arthritis in my elbow. Got to really take it easy. Like when I'm designing things, I type like 2 words per minute. Don't judge me. Hyper Orange threw in another 2. Thank you, Hyper. How did you get the license for Poppy Playtime in Monsters Immortals? I gave them a call, and I'm very persuasive, and they're cool guys, so it just worked out. So, yeah, I'm excited to have Poppy Playtime. It definitely kind of blew up the last month. I'm excited to see where they go with it with their next chapter. And right now there's not a lot of content, so there's not a lot for us to make the DLC with, but I think we have enough to do something pretty cool. And we'll have to talk to them, but as they add the other chapters and open up other stuff, maybe we'll do a second Poppy Playtime DLC that kind of throws in all that additional content. If the game stays popular, or if they just add some cool stuff. We'll see how it goes, but I think right away we've got the Toy Factory, we've got Huggy Wuggy. It's going to be pretty awesome. Artem Score threw in another £2. Yeah. Random question, does Joykill have a weakness? Yeah, lava. He doesn't handle it very well. And walking in front of moving objects, obviously. But other than that, no. If you just tried to pick up a gun and shoot him, I think you'd have a hard time. Vision threw in another 5. Thank you for your multiple contributions. Are you planning on making more than one book for the Dark Deception books? So yeah, actually, just to give you an update on that, Kelly Parr and I have been working on that for a couple months now. And it's going to start off, we're going to kick things off with 2 of the novellas. So there's going to be 2 stories. We're almost done with the first story. It's still in progress, but it's looking pretty awesome so far. It really adds a lot of extra lore for Malik, I think. And it gives you kind of a window into just what happened with Malik before the events of Dark Deception, and just how he kind of conducts himself in general. So it's a really cool look into Malik's background and his world. A bit further, a lot more details than what we provided in what we could provide in Dark Deception. So I think when those books come out, they're going to be a great read. And Kelly's a really talented writer. I think she just released another FNAF book with Scott that just came out, part of his new book series. So yeah, she's doing an amazing job. I think you guys will love it. And if you want to know what her writing's like, just go read the FNAF books. It's a good kind of window into her writing style. Redhead Playa Shorts threw in 35. Wow, thank you. Hi Vince, this is Redhead Playa on my Shorts account because my main account won't let me send messages on your streams for some reason. I just want to ask, will there ever be a Lovecraftian DLC? That's a good question. I think the best bet for something Lovecraftian or of something of that nature would definitely be Amnesia. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of something along that line. Something like H.P. Lovecraft. It would definitely be something like Amnesia. So hopefully we get an Amnesia DLC at some point. I can't think of any H.P. Lovecraft-based horror game more popular than Amnesia. If you guys know any, feel free to suggest it to me and I'll take a look. The ones that I can remember that I really liked were like Eternal Darkness Um, yeah, I think that's the only one that comes to mind for me besides Amnesia. But I think that's definitely a dormant IP. It's from like GameCube. So yeah. Unicat Ingest threw in another 5. It's like you. That's like multiple for you. People already thought Joy Joy Gang were people in synths until Frenzy Mode, especially Lucky. Yeah, so that's basically what we were going for. At least I was with their design, is I wanted them to look like the park mascots that you encounter, that everyone has encountered at Disney World and stuff like that. So it has that mascot costume look. I didn't want them to look like, segmented plastic or metal robots like you see at Chuck E. Cheese. Well, even Chuck E. Cheese are inside suits. Like you see in the FNAF, basically. They're all like hard plastic or metal or whatever they are. And it's like segmented at the joints. I wanted to get as far from that look as possible. So that's why I made them all kind of mascot costumes. And there's other video games that have done evil mascots. I just feel like that's a cooler look. And one that I'm more familiar with personally. But underneath, they are still, cyborgs or animatronics. So we definitely wanted them to still convey like robotic movements. Unfortunately, this time we didn't get to show like the full reveal of their endoskeleton, like a full removal of the suit. But we actually did design for that, so I do have like the concepts of that I've shown some of. I don't know if I've shown all of them, but at one point we were planning to have them fully revealed in running around just as the bear robot animatronic. So yeah, I don't know if Chapter 5 will show that, but you'll see pretty soon, I guess. Hyper Orange threw in 5. Every monster has the soul of a person who did a specific bad action in its life. Why isn't that the case with the Joy Joy Gang? The Joy Joy Gang have their story as well. If you read the E-note, she kind of alludes to that. Although I'm not going to go into their background now because it plays a role in something else. So it would spoil that. But there is something else coming, and it's not necessarily Chapter 5, that will explain a lot more about the Joy Joy Gang. Or, I guess their origin. Unicat Ingest threw in another 10. Thank you, Unicat. In Monsters and Mortals, I expected a cutscene after Zone 2 where Lucky's like, "You useless gear sacks, I'm beyond disappointed in y'all," to Hangry and Penny, and he does something and accidentally fries them into frenzy mode. Into the frenzy mode. So you wanted Lucky to kind of punish Hangry and Penny, like kind of like, well, this is kind of an outdated reference, but like the Three Stooges where Moe slaps the other two. Yeah, I mean, I wish we had a lot of time to have like that kind of in-depth interactions between them. That's definitely something Lucky will do, is that he is kind of abusive to the other two, Hangry and Penny. That's just part of their dynamic, is it doesn't bother them. They're so used to it. But yeah, Hangry is not all, or Lucky's not always nice to Hangry and Penny. He would definitely abuse them in that way. And it doesn't matter, they don't have value to him because they have so many clones. He can just bring them back if he destroys them. As long as they follow his orders, that's all that would matter. Let's see. Unicat Ninjas threw in another 2. Thank you. And why, follow-up question, why the heavy breathing in the Barely Buried music? Oh, the heavy breathing was just kind of an extra element to give it the tribal, kind of raw tribal feel that's supposed to be conveyed with the caverns and the the trigger teddies and just the way they are, because it's a very raw primal kind of environment and enemy. It's very like natural, so we wanted to have almost like this kind of tribal raw primal feel to it, and the heavy breathing is kind of like almost like a chant or some kind of war dance or something. District D threw in 40 rubles. Thank you, District. Will there be upscale, FSR, or DLSS, and RT and Evil Nun? Actually, that's something we've been discussing, is DLSS. We do have kind of a ghetto version of that in, I guess kind of a poor man's version of it in Dark Deception and Monsters, Immortals, and Evil Nun right now. But we do want to enable DLSS. So I think in at least Evil Nun, by the final version, you could expect to see that enabled. So that is something we're working on. Okay, Plush Boy threw in 10. Will the mall have more than 3 zones? No. So 3 zones is the cap. That is as big as these levels are going to get for Dark Deception's first game. So Chapter 5, all the levels will be capped at 3 zones. They may not all be 3 zones. We'll see. But that is kind of the limit for Dark Deception's first game. Rooney Nico threw in £5. Thank you, Rooney, for your other contribution. How are you going to do the Dark Deception Chapter 5 DLC? Will Part 1 and 2 be in one DLC, or there'll be 2 DLC for Chapter 5 Part 1 and 2, and how much is it? No, so here's how it's going to work. So basically Part 1 and 2 are the same DLC. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch the Chapter 5 DLC early, but it's only going to contain the Part 1 levels. So basically, you'll be able to play through level 9 and 10, and when you get to the end of level 10, it's just going to end. They'll have kind of the end level, or if we can't do that, it'll just, you won't be able to go into the next portal. So it'll kind of cut you off there, cut off your progression. And then later, once Part 2 is done, we'll simply update that Chapter 5 build, and then that will become fully playable, and you'll be able to go through the portal to continue. So that's basically all that's going to happen, is at some point after level 10, there's going to be a wall blocking your progress, and you'll have to wait until we release update number 2 to be able to progress to levels 11 and 12. So I hope that kind of clears that up for a lot of people. That's how we're going to do it. No Name from Twitter threw in 100 rubles. Thank you. But he retracted his message, so thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Fernando Miller threw in $5. Thank you, Fernando, for your multiple contributions. Since you can update your laptop and PC to Windows 11, can Monsters and Mortals be played? Yeah. I mean, just upgrading to Windows 11 isn't going to stop Monsters and Mortals from working. So you don't have to worry about that. Bon Fazbear threw in 2 reals. Again, thank you. Can you give any info about the Dombrowski character? Yeah, so Daniel, I think we mentioned earlier that we were going to make another Glowstick team character for Daniel, and that is still planned, but obviously we have to get through the stuff we've promised first. Like the Crazy Carnival map, the Mama Bear and Trigger Teddy, the Yandere Simulator DLC, the Poppy Playtime DLC, Evil Nun DLC, and the Coma DLC. So we have to fulfill those promises first before we get into adding Daniel. And Daniel's fine with that, so it'll be a little bit of a wait, but we'll get to him eventually. He will definitely be in there. But right now, people want Mama Bear and Trigger Teddy. And as far as what his weapon will be or what he will look like, I'm sure it'll be something ridiculous. Oh, YouTube did its jump again. Okay. Kitty Future threw in $2. Thank you, Kitty. Will the Matron be a boss in Monsters and Mortals? Yes. So, Torment Therapy boss will probably be the Matron. We haven't designed that map yet. We're still wrapping up Crazy Carnival. But I think you can expect the Chapter 4 maps to kind of trickle in over the next 3 months. We may do, obviously, Yandere Simulator and the Crazy Carnival map come first, but I think maybe by January or February you might see the Mascot Mayhem map, because that's the one everybody wants first, so we're just going to do that one first. They're not necessarily going to release in order since these are free updates. So we'll do the Mascot Mayhem map, and then we'll do either Barely Buried or Torment Therapy, and, you know, we'll get them all out. One way or the other, you'll get them all. And that gives us a lot of cool content for 2022 to kind of keep you guys fed while we work on some of the guest DLC. District D threw another 40 rubles. Thank you again. Which video card will be recommended for Evil Nun? Good question. So, we haven't started testing all the low settings for that yet, but I'm guessing it will be pretty similar to Chapter 4 for Dark Deception. So I would recommend, I think at a minimum, well, Unreal Engine 5 is far more demanding than Unreal Engine 4. I mean, that's one thing people have to accept, is that as these engines become more powerful, their demands increase. So you can't just keep using, a 1050 card forever. It's not going to work. Pretty soon, it's not going to be able to even run the lowest settings. And this is for stuff that's realistic. I mean, if you go play like a cartoony, stylized game like League of Legends or, Sly Cooper or something like that, those don't have to have all the high resolution textures. They don't have to have like the really realistic specular maps and so many materials. They can recycle a lot of them. So that's much easier on the GPU than what we're creating and what other games create that are realistic. So I think now, I mean, just for myself, I would say like try to have either a 1080 or a 20 series if you want it to run well and not just be stuck on low settings all the time. Like, you would want to have at least a card at least that good. And those cards, even those, are from, 5 years ago? Almost 6 years? Maybe even longer for the 1080? Well, it is longer. So, I mean, when your card starts getting, over half a decade in age, you have to realize how fast tech advances and how fast these things become obsolete. Forsaken Gaming threw in 5. Thank you, Forsaken. Now that Monsters Immortals is getting dedicated servers, would other ports like mobile be possible in the future? Yes, so we do want to bring Monsters Immortals to everything. So we are looking at, well, first our priority is to get it to Epic Game Store and then to bring it to consoles. So we want to bring it to like Switch and PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. And that's our first priority, is to do that. Epic Games could be out this year, 2021. So we're working on that, and I hope everything goes smoothly. It shouldn't be that hard, though, so I think it's very likely that Monsters Immortals could be available cross-platform, which means you can play with Steam users on Epic Games by the end of December. That's an estimation, though. That's not a promise. Obviously, if we need more time, we'll take it. But I think at the moment, the way things are going, I think it's not unreasonable to expect that. And then 2022 will be the console ports, and we'll see how long that takes. But mobile would be last. We'd have to see if it can run on mobile, just because there are some elements of Monsters Immortals that are a little bit more performance intensive, so we'll see if mobile hardware can handle that. And I think if we did put it on mobile, don't expect it to run on old phones. Like, I would say anything older than like an 8 series, like a Galaxy S8 or an iPhone 8, I wouldn't expect it to run on anything older than that. See, Unicat Ingest threw another 5. Thank you, Unicat. Did you see my video in August? I made your model dance to TN Pig. I'm not even done with it yet, lol. Also, Mama Bear, Joy Joy Gang, Toy Factory music clip coming soon. No, I don't think I saw... I did see a video of my model dancing to some music, and I actually reused it on TikTok, but I don't think it was that one. So I probably missed it. So if you submit it, or tag me on Twitter, because I mostly see stuff on Twitter, I'll take a look at it. I hope it's funny. So I always like the videos where they take my model and do something ridiculous with it, as long as it's in good taste and it's humorous. Hey, we got another one from Taybub, and I'm going to say it right this time. $2. Thank you, Taybub. Taybub45. Have you watched a movie called Napoleon Dynamite? Yes, and that's a classic. I loved it. Joy Joy Lucky threw in another £2. Thank you, Joy Joy. How did the Corey DLC come to be? Did you chat? Yeah, me and Corey have been talking for a little while about this. He got busy with some family things. Um, I think you guys know how it is with him and his schedule. And I like that. I like that he takes time for himself and that he doesn't let the pressure control his life and dictate his schedule. I think more YouTubers should do that. I really see a lot of them are kind of getting into these unhealthy schedules and life habits. They should all kind of take a page from Corey about how to manage that. It hasn't hurt his success at all. So yeah, I worked it out with him at his own pace. So it took a little bit longer. Let's put it that way. But yeah, we both wanted to do it. He's been supporting Dark Deception for a long time, and he's an awesome guy. So it worked out, and it's going to be really cool making his character. We've got a pretty cool design for it. You know, it'll be great to have the Shogun in there. And we got a contribution from Lucas. He threw in £1, and he didn't ask any questions, so thank you for your contribution, Lucas. Bonbon Fazbear threw in another 5 reals. Thank you, Bonbon. Will William Burstmark or Crafter Boy be an Evil Nun DLC? Leslie was a name in the Dark Deception IMDb page. Or IMDb page. Yeah, that was a mistake as far as the Leslie name. I think a fan put that in because anybody can edit the IMDb pages. So I think somebody took like an old clue and thought the name was Leslie and put it in. We've since corrected that, so hopefully it's not there anymore. I haven't checked the IMDb page in a while. As far as the Evil Nun DLC, Crafter Boy. Let me see. Is he in there? I believe he is. Yeah. I can't remember if we went with just the basic Lost Boy, or if we went with the Crafter Boy, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Crafter Boy. It's basically almost the same model. It's just basically enabling the different masks with the goggles on. And he has like a change of accessories on his bag. He's got like a different backpack. So, yeah, we could even do that as like a skin, maybe. Like just the normal Lost Boy, and then you can also be the Crafter Boy. I don't know. We haven't finished everything with the Evil Nun DLC. We're kind of going to address that one after we have more of the Evil Nun, the Broken Mask done. But yeah, I think you could expect to see all the major characters in there, like the Chubby Nun, Sister Madeline. Probably the only one it won't have is the Blue Child. So I don't think you'll see Blue Child in there. Kirove, or Kirove, threw in 5 reals. Thank you. Hey Vince, when will Joy Joy Gang's instrumental raps come out? Actually, that kind of ties back into a question we had earlier. I guess once I get some time, like kind of decompress from all the stuff on my plate right now. I'm kind of overloaded again with a lot of stuff. So I'll get the Joy Joy Gang instrumental raps out at some point. I can't promise when. It may slide into 2022, but eventually I'll get just all those tracks that people have been requesting and throw the instrumentals out. I just have to get them off of Rocket and Daniel, since they're the ones who actually hold those files. Vision threw out 5 again. Thank you. Since Monsters and Mortals plushies are coming, which mortal plushie will be coming first? Are you allowed to say that? Or if you're allowed to say that, or even no? Actually, I don't know. So that's kind of the fun thing with Makeship, is we create a lineup of plushies, but I don't know which order they're going to produce them in. They usually will ask for suggestions from me, but sometimes they'll just roll on to one that I'm unaware of and fill me in later. So no, I'm not sure which mortal will come first. I think it will probably be... it could be Doug, it could be mine, it could be Detective Evans. Probably, I think, one of those 3. Let's see. Harimuka threw in £5. No question, just a donation, so thank you. Unicat Ninjas threw another 2. Vince, you're not 60, you liar. How do you know, though? I'm gonna stick with that just to drive people crazy. That they, I'm sure you can find it out online somewhere. I mean, all my information's on there at some point, even though it's old. Let's see. Yoshi threw in Hong Kong 25. Thank you, Yoshi. Nice to see a Hong Kong fan in there. Hello, Vince. Thank you for making Dark Deception. I want to ask, does the S ranking ending change who survives the ending? Actually, it does. So it will change the outcome. If you just play the normal way, you'll get the worst ending. And, you know, it may not be as positive as you want it to be. Bad things may happen to some characters that don't happen in the true ending. So yeah, it will affect the outcome. Harimuka threw in another £5. Another multiple contributions. Thank you again. This message was also retracted, so just thank you for your donation. Redhead Plays Shorts threw in another 5. Wow, thank you for your multiple contributions. Vince, people are going crazy about your age. What happened? I don't know. I guess it's that time after 16 episodes. They're like, we've got all the other info. What don't we have yet? Age. Let's just put it this way. Me and Super Horror Bro can relate on a lot of stuff. So if you know Super Horror Bro's age, maybe you can guess mine. Lemon Peppermint threw in 2. Thank you, Lemon. What does Malik do in his free time? Well, Malik is a busy man that never slows down. Or I guess you could say a busy demon. And I think that's what's really cool about the books that are coming, is that it kind of explains a lot of what he does in his free time. And that if you ever know, like, an entrepreneur or somebody who's in business, is they never stop. They're usually A-type people. They're very driven. And they are very committed to their career path or their line of business. So Malik is kind of that way as well. He's very driven to reach his goal. He's very goal-oriented. And he does that for eternity. So you'll get to see a lot of what goes on in Malik's day, or his daily activities in the book series, and that'll be pretty cool to expand on. So if the first 2 books do well, we'll write more and really make it a big series. It'll be cool. Bonbon Vazbear threw in 5 reals. Thank you, Bonbon. What about using scrapped Mind Your Manners as Titan boss theme? Will Spider Clown have his own boss theme? We're not going to reuse the scrapped Mind Your Manners. Like I said, we'll put it in the vault for another time and see if there's anything else we can use it in. Could be mobile games, could be future PC games. It'll get used at some point, but not necessarily in these games. And will Spider Clown have its own boss theme? Yes, we're actually working on that right now, and it's fun. So, you'll see it pretty soon. Taybub45 threw in 2 and retracted his message, so I guess thank you for the 3rd contribution. I appreciate it. Jackson LaFoon threw in 2. What will Doug Hauser and Bierce's... what is Doug Hauser's and Bierce's favorite animal? That hasn't really been established, I guess. I don't know. I guess kind of use your imagination for that one. Doug Hauser... I don't know. He kind of reminds me of one of those guys that would say, you know, something cheesy like the wolf. Like he's part of a wolf pack, you know, Howl at the Moon type of stuff. He just seems like one of those bros in his past life that, you know, was very kind of arrogant and full of himself, and he would see himself as like a wolf pack of one. So for Doug, I would go with a wolf, because that kind of exemplifies or kind of signifies his nature in his life, was that he was kind of hungry like the wolf and predatory. As far as Bierce, I don't know. Bierce is tough to pick one for. I'll let you guys decide for her. But it would definitely be an alpha predator for her. We'll put it that way. Unicat Ninjas threw in 5. Arthritis in your elbow. It's called carpal tunnel syndrome. Every 3D modeler has it. How do I stop it? It hurts. Ouch, and I'm 20. Yeah, that is a problem. Carpal tunnel syndrome. I get that too. I've had it in the past. Basically, you just wrap your wrist with a bunch of stuff to where you can't feel anything anymore and hope it gets better. Or you take a break. Usually you have to take a break. Let your wrist kind of heal up. All jokes aside, you don't want to let your wrist get jacked up, and that'll ruin your career and or if it's just a hobby, that'll ruin your hobby for a good number of years. So if your wrist starts hurting really bad, stop. Or find a new way to work. I think Penn did that. I think when she went through college, she used to use her keyboard and mouse for everything, and it hurt her wrist a lot. So she started using a Wacom pen in place of the mouse, and that allowed her to work without hurting her wrist. I hate that setup, but she likes it, so, you got to find your own solution. No Name from Twitter threw in another donation without a question. Message was retracted. I don't know why these messages... I hope that's not like a bug, all these messages getting retracted. I don't think that many people are changing their mind. But he threw in 100 rubles, so thank you very much for your additional contribution. You've also made multiple. I appreciate that. DJ Cookie Mo threw in 5. Hi, Vince. I don't know if you've been asked this before, but have you ever thought about making the Dark Deception bosses into plushies soon? Yeah, so actually we thought about doing Joykill. And we were looking at doing a Joykill plushie, but it was so complex that we kind of abandoned the idea. It was too hard to manufacture. Maybe we'll take another stab at it in the near future. Right now we're trying to get through the normal characters, so we still have Trigger Teddy, Clown Gremlin. We're now finally getting Hangry out, and we've got Penny still to do. So we've still got at least, let's see, Hangry, Penny. Well, Hangry's on the way. Penny, Trigger Teddy, Mama Bear. Is there any more besides that? Chapter 5 characters. So I think we've still got a number of Dark Deception characters to keep us busy. Maybe after that we'll get to the Dark Deception bosses. But for now we're just going to go through the normal characters. Artem wants score through in another 450. Thank you. 450 pounds. Would you consider Doug to be an extrovert or an introvert? Doug is extremely extroverted. So he's definitely, he was a predator. Predators like to go out and hunt their prey. If you've seen Doug's backstory, and I've seen a lot of it, a lot of Doug's personality is upsetting because he never exemplified the best qualities of a man or anyone in general. Doug chose the easy path on a lot of things, the selfish path, the things that suited his desires. And that led him to a lot of bad results. But those desires caused him to be very extroverted because he needs to go and satisfy those cravings, and that requires going out. You can't do that if you're stuck in the house. See, Redhead Play Shorts threw in another 5. Wow, thank you for your large donations tonight. There will be a lot more super chats coming, lol. Yes. Wait, are there? Oh no. Is this going to break the record? Because it's already like 3 a.m. here. Well, I'll do this as long as it takes because I made you guys wait 2 extra days. So, I think the longest the live stream has ever gone is 2.5 hours. And we're at an hour and a half, so I hope it doesn't break that, but we'll see. Rooney Nico threw in 5 pounds. Thank you, Rooney. You said Joy Joy Gang was like Dark Souls difficulty, very early in development. Can you give any examples on why it was so difficult? Well, you have to understand, at the time, it was... We actually toned it down a lot towards release, is that it was too hard. During our testing, it was unfairly hard in how the Joy Joy Gang reacted to cameras. And we actually reduced that a lot. Also, their movement speed, how often they use their abilities. It was unbeatable at the point when I was testing it. So that's why I called it Dark Souls difficulty. And then we realized a lot of people, the majority of people, although there are a bunch of you who are kind of masochists, you guys love to torture yourself with a challenge, and I love that about you because I'm kind of the same way. But there's a lot of more players, they don't like challenge. They want it to be kind of a decent challenge, but not anything that's gonna stop them from progressing too much. So I don't like that too much either because it's too easy, it's boring. So I kind of put it in the middle where you can die as much as they want, but it's still challenging for a lot of people. I mean, there's some people that still think the hotel is too hard, and it's I still get negative reviews from people telling me that I made the hotel unbeatable. I don't get that, but yeah, you have to understand that there's a lot of different levels of comfort with the difficulty. So at that time, the difficulty we had it, I'm pretty sure 85 or 90% of people would have hated it. So we changed it for release. Well, thank you, YouTube, for doing a giant jump again. Wow, you weren't kidding. There are a lot of chats. Super chats. One second, gotta find my place again. YouTube's doing this to me a lot today. Okay, Redhead Play Shorts. Threw in another 25. Wow. Anyways, Vince, how's your day going? Well, today was a great day. Busy. So basically, all the XPG stuff arrived today. Spent the day working on the Crazy Carnival map. That was fun. And we are wrapping up some stuff on the Coma 2 DLC. That's still going. If any of you have played the Coma 2 DLC, or the Coma 2 Vicious Sisters, we kind of wrapped up Mina Park today. So Mina's looking pretty awesome. She's not going to elicit the mommy responses that I got for Dark Song, but she's a really cool character. And I still highly recommend the Coma 2 Vicious Sisters if any of you have not played it. That is a true horror gem. And it's on the Switch, it's on PS4, it's on all the consoles, so it's very easy to find it and play it. But yeah, that was kind of what went on today. It's very busy, very productive. And now we're doing a live stream. It's awesome. And you threw in another one. Another one from Redhead Play Shorts, another 20. Vince, what would you think of a fan-made Rick and Morty Dark Deception crossover? Well, I'm a fan of anything Rick and Morty, but it's not horror, so, well, it's horrifying in parts, but in general, it's a comedy. So I'm not sure how that would kind of fit over, but I mean, if you were just doing a crossover for crossover's sake, then yeah, sure. I'm down for it. Who is your favorite member? Rail Runner threw in 5. Who is your favorite member of the Joy Joy gang? Mine is Lucky. Also, is Agatha the maid's daughter beer sacrificed? So, as far as who is my favorite member of the Joy Joy gang, that's tough. I really love all 3 of them, but just personality-wise, I gotta go with Lucky. Just because he's more that character type that I like. I think that one is very interesting. That kind of unhinged lunatic. I just like that one. But I also like Penny and Hangry almost equally. So it's really hard to pick a favorite. I think they are kind of an awesome trio. So I would just, I could pick a name out of the hat and go with any one of them. As far as Agatha being the maid's daughter, I think that has already been kind of hinted to quite a bit in the previous 4 chapters. So, yes, if anyone hasn't figured out yet, that Agatha was Bierce's sacrifice. And you'll kind of see a resolution to that in Chapter 5. Deceptex threw in £3. Thank you, Deceptex. Can you fix the Chapter 4 Bierce subtitle bug, please? I don't know what you mean by subtitle bug. I think what you're referring to is that Chapter 4 is missing subtitles. And that's not a bug. That's because they were not finished in time for the release. We are actually updating the subtitles very soon for all languages for Chapter 4. So when you reach Chapter 4 currently, there's not any subtitles in there for a lot of the lines. And that's simply because they're just not there. It's not because of a bug. We're going to be adding those in. And the reason that we didn't have them at launch is that we're using... basically, we have a lot of volunteers helping us to do these subtitles. And we couldn't release the script early because, of course, it will be leaked within like an hour. So we didn't want to put out the script to anyone before Chapter 4 launched and spoil basically the chapter. And then as far as like the English subs, the way the system is set up, it's easy for us to just do them all at once, then focus and get one in and put the others in. So we actually overhauled the subtitle system from what was in chapters 1 through 3. We completely rebuilt it. So now we're putting subtitles in directly into Unreal. That's actually a much easier method for us. And that'll speed up putting in the subtitles in the future. So it's just something we had to do. It delays things a little bit, but it's something that's definitely a positive for the game, that we put in the time to do it. Rini Nico threw in another £5. Thank you, Rini Nico. Who made the artwork in Torment Therapy? And I mean, we don't go through the entire game a second time just to get to the new gameplay section. I'm not sure which art in Torment Therapy you're referring to. Are you talking about the art gallery unlocks? Some of the character designs are mine. I'm trying to remember what art gets unlocked for Torment Therapy, because some of it is fan art, some of it is mine. And then the art that I put in, I believe, was just the Reaper Nurse design. Or if you're talking about the framed posters in the hallways of Torment Therapy, those were made by Penn and myself. So we just kind of made some poster illustrations. So I think that's what you're talking about. Like the one with the nurse where she's like, take your medicine. She's got that kind of empowered pose from those old 1940s posters from World War II, or whenever those were put out. That one was done by Penn. So Penn and I kind of split those. Next one, G-Man Luigi threw in 2. Thank you, G-Man. Will there be Mr. Hop's Playhouse DLC? It's possible. Once we get through all the ones we have, we'll kind of look at some of the ones that we haven't done yet, that we don't have in, and which ones would be a good fit. So I know Mr. Hops is popular, so that could be one that we work with if the creator is open to it. Yeah, we'll see. We'll get to that once we got to finish everything we've promised already, and that's plenty. That'll keep us busy probably for the next 4 to 6 months. Forsaken Gaming threw another 2. Will Omar Sabale get a Monsters Immortals DLC? Yeah, it's possible. Omar could be in there eventually. He's still got a couple more things to meet for the creator DLC criteria, but I think he's getting very close, so it's possible. Especially now that he's hosting our videos. Deceptex threw in £2. Thank you, Deceptex, for your multiple contributions. Will there be an Always Near music video? It's possible. I've actually been talking to Rocket about going back and doing a music video for Bad Rabbit. Primarily Bad Rabbit, but also we could do Always Near. But I think just right now we're looking at doing one for Bad Rabbit, since we never actually made like a real, like source filmmaker music video for that song. And that's probably the most popular of the 3, easily. No Name from Twitter threw in another 40 rubles. Thank you. Are there gods in the Dark Deception universe? Well, there is. I'm trying to see if that goes too far into spoiler territory. There is something beyond Malik. I'll put it that way, and that's a you'll see for Chapter 5. But let's just say Malik, as he's already kind of explained in the cutscene before, Barely Buried, his big exposition there, is that this is a dark universe, and he's not the only. He refers to himself as an elite demon. He's not the only one. You'll also notice that Malik is frequently busy with other business. So, yeah, Chapter 5, you'll see a bit more about that. Roxas Keys threw in $2. Thank you, Roxas. Will Huggy Wuggy be playable? Right now, Huggy Wuggy is the boss of the Poppy Playtime map. So, mainly because he's so tall. He's gigantic. There's no way he could be a playable character in any of the other maps. So I guess what we would kind of work out with mob games or Enchanted Mob is if we want to make him a playable character, because a lot of people are flooding me with demands for that. So I don't know if they would be cool to make a shorter, smaller version of Huggy Wuggy. You know, that may not be something they want to see, so it's up to them. I guess that would be our workaround, kind of like in Monstrum we had the regular brute, and then the boss was the super brute. We could do something similar with the Poppy Playtime DLCs, where we have the normal Huggy Wuggy as the boss, and then we create some alternate Huggy Wuggy for the playable character. But I'll have to work that out with them, because obviously they have full control over that. I have to kind of play within their rules so that I don't damage their brand. Unicat Ninjas threw in another 10. Thank you, Unicat, for Halloween. Or sorry, it's 3M. My speaking ability starts to be not so good. For Halloween Haunt, I worked in a maze called Roadkill Roadhouse. I used and revamped some of the Joy Joy Gang voice lines as some of mine, such as, "Are you ready to become some of the roadkill? I am so hungry." Oh yeah, I think I saw that you like Hangry a lot, so that's really cool. I like to see the Hangry cosplay. So that's cool if you're using kind of the Hangry personality in an actual Halloween maze. It's been a while since I went in one of those. They don't have those in Asia, so I've kind of missed that about the U.S. is all those really crazy haunted house rides come Halloween. I think I used to live in Pennsylvania a long time ago, and they always had these farms that you could go to, and they do like the hay wagon tours. You'd like get on the wagon and they'd ride you through this corn maze or something, and just people would jump out and attack you while you're on it. It was pretty cool. So I guess you're one of those people jumping out and attacking people. Unicat Ninjas again. She's got 2 more, so I'm going to kind of combine them. Unicat threw in 7. First one. Bro, what was that glitch where Doom Ducky was yelling at you? Like, would you get trapped and then this awful raw yelling noise? I don't know that glitch. Unless you're talking about the old one. If that's a bug, report it to me and send me a video of it. Mannequin levels should be called Massacre Malls. I gotta avoid that just because we already did kind of an MM alliteration with Mascot and Mayhem. So I don't want to use anything with malls. So I'm going to try to think up something a little bit different just to kind of keep it unique. There's actually a lot of synonyms that I can use for malls and shopping and all that stuff that will make it more of a unique name. So I'll probably, settle on that pretty soon, and then I'll share that with you all. Dr. Golden threw in 200 rubles. Thank you, Dr. Golden. Once Ayano's Lovesick Labyrinth returns into development, I'm a bit confused here. Will Ayano herself be a final nightmare? And will Malik be acting like in the original? So Lovesick Labyrinth is kind of paused while we do all of this stuff. As far as Ayano herself being the final nightmare, is that Ayano is kind of the enemy of that game and the design. And I'm not sure how much I've said about that, but I'm not going to say too much because the design may change. I don't want to put out stuff that may or may not be in the final product. So I'll just leave it at that for now, is that Ayano is basically the antagonist of the game. Malik is kind of like a secondary antagonist. Arter1 Score threw in another £2. Thank you. Would the Reaper nurses be the kind to experiment? Kind of like a mad science lab or something like that. No, they're more like the type to play Operation, where they kind of just have fun doing things to you, like torturing you in different ways with different tools, just to kind of see how long you could endure it or how long you would live or something like that. And they'd kind of document that for each patient to improve their torture methods. So in essence, they torture their patients, and that kind of ties into the psychology of that toxic relationship between them, the toxic women and the toxic men, is that they torture each other. in a very vicious way, emotionally and physically. So, yeah, that's the kind of experimentation they would do. Vision through a 10. That's another one from Vision today. Thank you. Could there ever be a Resident Evil DLC for Monsters Immortals? Man, I hope so, because that's my favorite horror franchise besides Dead Space. So I would love to see a Resident Evil DLC. I mean, we got Silent Hill. So I would never say, never say never. I don't know when it'll happen, if it'll happen, but I will definitely try my best to make it happen. So if it doesn't ever happen, then at least I tried. All right, and that's it for our super chats for a minute. I'll come back to it if there's some more, but I'm going to go back to the chat thread and see if we have any other questions from the members. So if you guys were waiting for super chats to end and you have some other questions to throw in, now's your shot before any others roll in and I have to wrap this thing up. Well, let me see. Okay, somebody asks, this is from Deceptex again. Somebody asked, will you make plushies of other characters and their frenzy mode? So yeah, frenzy mode plushies are something we just talked about, especially for the Joy Joy gang, since a lot of people were asking for, bring Lucky back. Well, he's already in his frenzy mode. For him, it would be the opposite, is to release a plushie of him in his normal mode. So we're already doing kind of the frenzy modes for Joy Joy Gang, but like we could do frenzy mode Ducky, we could do frenzy mode Gold Watcher. We would probably put it to a vote to see which one you guys actually want. Because since that's kind of a secondary skin of a character that we've already kind of done a campaign for, we would only want to bring back characters that you guys really want. So I'd probably do a poll to ask, like, which frenzy mode character would you guys want a plush of first? And I'd probably list out, like, since Twitter only allows me to do 4 options, I'd list out the 4 top-selling characters and see which one you want a frenzy mode plushie of. Let me see. Adam Azur, do the mannequins have a boss? All levels have a boss. The question is, will it be the mannequins or something else? You'll see. Just gotta wait. It's coming. Oh yeah, and I get a lot of requests for the Agatha plushie. It is coming, I promise. We are gonna get to Agatha. Let me see if we got any more member chat questions. Funtime Freddy asks, is there going to be any more Christmas-like songs for them all? Yes. So there's another one, actually, I'm going to put up soon. That's kind of fun. So yes, that to answer your question about that. Roxas Keys asks, will there be an original Mortal with a grab pack for Poppy Playtime DLC, much like how you've made the original Mortal prisoner Borisov in the Monstrum DLC? I don't know yet if we're going to include a Mortal into the Poppy Playtime DLC. Currently, that's not in our agreement, but if Mob Games sees a lot of demand from fans, from Dark Deception fan base and from the Poppy Playtime fan base, which are basically just a collection of Bendy, FNAF, and Dark Deception fans, since we all share fans, then they may be open to that, and we'd have to see. But of course, the more we add to it, the more it delays it, so the longer it will take to release. So I think in this case, just to save time, I don't know, we'll have to see. It's possible, though, that we may put out a map DLC first that has basically just a playable map and the boss, and then maybe later we'll put out a character pack as a separate DLC. That way they don't kind of slow each other down, and then they'll be priced kind of the same as if they were like all in one DLC, but it'll be kind of split into 2.
Let me see. Get a few more of these. Joy Lucky asks, "Hey Vince, if a new class was added to Monsters Immortals, what do you think it would be?" New class. Maybe like a trapper class, like somebody that can just lay traps. That would be pretty cool. I've seen that in a lot of other kind of multiplayer games. You know, we already have like support and ranged and power and balanced and speed. So I think something like that, like a trapper class, could be doable. We'd have to see if we have any characters that kind of fit into that. But that would be kind of a fun ad. Let's see. Adam Azor asks, "Do the mannequins move on all fours at any point?" They move in a variety of ways. I'm not going to spoil like how they move, but yeah, they move in ways beyond just the normal bipedal walk cycle. So you'll see some interesting stuff. Oh, we got one that's just saying a greeting, so I'll get that in. Ferenc Fritz says, "Hi Vince, wondering, do you know any Hungarian words? By the way, greetings from Hungary." Well, it's cool to see fans from all over the world. No, I know nothing in Hungarian. Definitely don't teach me, though, because fans always teach me, like, the bad words and tell me it's something, like, basic, and then I go out and say those bad words because I'm very gullible. I'll look it up on Google Translate if it's cool. If it's all good, then I'll say it. Okay. Hyper Orange asks, "Why do 6 clown Goliaths appear in the Funhouse if only 4 of them appear at the boss fight?" Simple. We just didn't have room for 6 of them. It was just a little bit too cramped. And also, it made the fight a lot harder. So there's only 4. Maybe later for like a hell mode, if we add like an insane difficulty mode, we can throw in like a bunch of clown Goliaths to make it a lot harder. So yeah, an idea for the future. Let's see. Oh, we got a couple more super chats. Let me get these out of the way. And Forsaken Gaming. Will the Reaper Nurse's face ever be revealed? I think, yeah, that's one we get a lot. I've gotten a few other live streams. And right now it's just going to be left a mystery. So you guys can kind of imagine what's under that bag. But I kind of leave myself... You know, I have my own kind of idea what's under there, but I'm not going to share it. Because I don't want to destroy what other people have imagined. But maybe at some point I will definitively, you know, set what is under that bag. But for now, I'm not. It's just going to be a mystery. Unicat Ninjas threw in another 10. "My haunt chair's unhinged and crazy. The name is Annie Luckette because you won't have any luck at escaping." Lucky is my favorite Joy character. Not Hangry. Human Lucky cosplay will be seen in the final Bad Rabbit video. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I think everybody's kind of fallen into a camp for the Joy gang, and there's no wrong choice. I love them all, but yeah, I'll be with you and that I like Lucky a bit more. Rooney Nico threw in £5. Thank you, Rooney, again. Okay, last super chat. Chapter 4 is amazing, and my favorite of all the chapters so far, and possibly my game of the year. Wow, that's huge praise. Thank you, even with all the bugs. Keep up the great work. So yeah, thank you for the kind words. We put a lot of work into Chapter 4. The bugs were unfortunate. We're fixing them. We fixed a lot of them already, so it's in a much better place, and we kind of see that with the feedback. Still a few bugs, like some people are getting the weird A-pose bug, but thankfully that is affecting a very small percentage of players. Otherwise we'd be getting like review bombed and stuff. But yeah, we'll keep striving to make that as polished as we can. You know, we're not done polishing Chapter 4 or the other chapters. You'll see some more patches in the near future over the next few months. So in addition to Monsters Immortals, we're working on Chapter 5, and we'll keep fixing bugs on Chapter 4. Nothing happens in one night or 1 week. It'll just keep steadily improving over time. Let's see. Unicat and Jess through another 2. Holiday horrors should be mannequin level. At least that's an alliteration we haven't used yet. HH. But I think we have some stronger themes in that level than just the holiday music. So I'll come up with some options. Let me see. Judinator through and 2. Are there any DLCs you're considering for Monsters Immortals? Yeah, we actually have a list. Some are already in talks. Some we haven't approached yet, but we have another wave of potential DLCs coming, once these ones are done. And we actually have 2 big ones that we haven't announced yet, so we'll get to those as well. Chunk Plonk threw in £5. Thank you, Chunk, again. You might need an extra shelf for all those plushies. Actually, I started setting up shelves. They got too big for... I used to have them on a bookshelf, and they kind of outgrew that, so I've got an extra shelf. Like, I just went and bought one of those hanging IKEA shelves, and now I'm putting them on those. But once all the plushies done, that's going to add, like, another... probably 30 plushies. So... If you count in the Monsters Immortal ones, so we have like 5 or 6 chapters 1 through 4 plushies left for Dark Deception, and then we're gonna have probably another 3 or 4 for chapter 5. So it's already getting close to 10, and then we have probably like another 12 or 15 for Monsters Immortals, with a lot more beyond that. So, right away that's like almost 27, probably close to 30 plushies combined to release over the next year. So yeah, that's why I was joking. It's going to be a pile of those things here, and I'm just going to be buried in it with just my head sticking out. Emma Zoom threw in 90, or sorry, not 90. Threw in $1.99. It's Emma Zoom 90. I made a Joy Joy Gang story. Would you read it? Yeah, if you share it, I will read it. Just will it fit in a tweet? If not, then you can just email it to us at contact@glowstickentertainment.com. Unicat and Jess threw in a 5. Last one, no farm level, because that's for my DD inspired fan game. I already have the concept art. Do not make a farm level. Well, if we do make a farm level, we'll make sure it's very different. But I hope to see your fan game out, because I like to see creative fan games. Just try to make it... I think somebody already submitted a farm game, actually, for the Game Jam. It was called Dark Deception Classic. And actually, speaking of that, the Game Jam games, we had some really cool ones. There were the top 3, but I'm going to be showing all of the ones, kind of the top ones that we played at some point next week. So I'm going to play them all. So if you entered, your game will be seen. And there was one in that was called Dark Deception Classic. That was kind of cool. It was like a retro PS1 style Dark Deception, and you run around a farm. So you can go through like barns and stuff like that. So you'll see that next week. So sadly, even if you make a farm game, it won't be the first. So make sure it's creative in a different way and it's cool. Joy Joy Lucky threw in £2. Will the mall be bigger than Barely Buried? Yes, it will be. It's one of the bigger levels. Judinator threw another 2. Before you know it, the plushies could be a DD level. Oh god, that could be true. You could have like a possessed plushies level where we just like 3D scan these plushies and have them fly around with like possessed eyes and stuff. Like something out of the... What was that? It was like a spoof movie of... Scary movie. It had the Alvin and the Chipmunk possessed dolls flying around. They ate them. It was messed up. It could be something like that. Emmy Zoom threw in another $2. Thank you, Emmy. I'm going to the eye doctor. Wish me luck, please. What What do you need luck for? I hope that's just like a eye exam and it's not something serious. I hope you don't have like a pen sticking out of your eye or a needle or something. But, well, take care. You know, take care of yourself. And I hope it's something routine. Take it easy. Terrible Tony threw in 5. Thank you, Terrible Tony. Hope you're not actually terrible. Is Poppy Playtime Playtime Panic? It doesn't have a name yet. I'm gonna let Bob Games choose that probably. Since it's their DLC, I'll let them be the one to pick the name for it. I usually let the partner for the guest DLC choose the name. So, like, the Team Junkfish signed off on Monstrum Madness, and Konami signed off on Silent Sacrifice. It's the same deal. They have final approval on the name. Oh, Unicat Ninjas. You told me that was the last one, but you threw another 10, so thank you. And you said it's not a fan game, no reference to DD at all. It's just similar Pac-Man 3D concept, and it won't be out for at least a few years. It's also not the only level in there. Game is called Capturing Capitulation. Well, in that case, awesome. It'll be very unique. Go for it. And take your time. Don't rush it. Uh-oh. Emmy Zoom threw in another 2, but she retracted her message. I don't know if that was intentional. But thank you for the other donation, Emmy. I appreciate it. Yoshi threw in another Hong Kong 15. Can we know anything besides Mannequins in Chapter 5? Well, at this point, no. Because I can't reveal much about level 10. Because it's very important. Including the enemy. Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a lot I'm going to be able to kind of reveal early about level 10. So at this point, level 9, the mall, is the only one I can really talk about. I think that'll change maybe as I get closer to releasing part 1, but for now I got to keep level 10 under wraps. So, kind of like Torment Therapy, it's going to be radio silence on level 10 for now. But yeah. Let's see. Chunk Plunk threw in another 2 pounds. How would Huggy Wuggy fit into the maps? We make him fit. I mean, the good thing about the Toy Factory is that it's pretty big. It's got very high ceilings. You know, it's got that second walkway that players can go up to. So there's plenty of space for Huggy Wuggy, the boss, to fit. The question is, do we want to have a player version of Huggy Wuggy, and does Mob Games want that? Judinator threw another 2. Do you plan on making plushies other than Makeshift? No, at the moment, Makeshift is our plushie partner. Simply because they were the ones that wanted to work with us, and they do a great job. So I am very happy working with them. Our deal is not exclusive, so if I want to make plushies with like Funko or something, I can. But at the moment, I consider Makeshift our primary plushie partner. As long as they keep doing a good job, I'm fine to keep it that way. And then, last question. Why were the scrapped penny jump scares unused? And that's from Hyper Orange. So, I'm not sure what you're talking about, scrapped penny jump scares. Pretty sure we used all of them. I don't think there's any that were scrapped. Unless they had some kind of bug issue. I'd have to go through them again. It's been a while. So if there's any reason, like, some of you, like, ripped the files or something and you saw some animation that wasn't used, then that's probably why. It caused bugs. Okay. We've got a couple more super chats slipped in. You guys trying to stretch this. All right. Artem 1 score. Thank you. I'm just going to say thanks because you've done multiple contributions tonight. Didi helped me discover more old games out there. Well, that's awesome. I mean, I hope it was... Are you talking Dark Deception or Monsters and Mortals? But either way, I mean, that's what I hope it does, is I hope it increases people's awareness of horror gaming and horror games in general. You know, there's a lot more out there than just Dark Deception, Bendy, and FNAF. There's a whole world of horror, and I'm hoping, like with Monsters Immortals, that we increase people's awareness. Because, like, a lot of kids didn't even know what Silent Hill was, and that made me want to cry. Thankfully, they know Resident Evil because it's recent, but there's a lot of stuff, it's been dormant for a while. They were like the early 2000s horror games or the 90s horror games, and they were huge, but they haven't put out anything since then, and so people forgot about them. So I hope we can kind of, and then there's some other games that are just kind of niche, or they had a more of a cult following, and we would like to expand that. So I think games that fall under that are like Monstrum and the Coma 2 Vicious Sisters. It's great to expand their audience and make more people aware of those games because they were awesome. And they deserve more attention. And if they can achieve that by being part of the Dark Deception universe, then that's great. And then Dark Deception's doing some good for the horror community in general, the larger horror community. And I hope more indie games do that. Let's see. Fleets does stuff. Why do you never take your hat off? And he put 2 pounds. Why do I take my hat off? It's because people want to know what's under there so badly. Just to piss people off. Really, that's really it. The more people ask me to take it off, the more I don't take it off. Artem 1 score threw in 0.79 pounds, almost a pound. Thank you. That's just a donation. On top of all the other donations. And that's it. That is it. Before any more roll in. Over 2 hours, so it didn't break the record. Whew. Because it's like almost 4 a.m. here. I'm about to pass out. That tea's not keeping me up anymore. But thank you all. I really enjoy these longer live streams. It is not a pain in my... it's not a pain in the arse. I don't mind it. I love your questions. So thank you for being so engaged. Thank you for being part of this live stream. This is our 16th live stream. Can't believe we've done this many. And we'll kind of keep going from there. I'll see you guys next time. And have a great night, great day, wherever you guys are at.